What is up, everybody? This is Recap Rewind. I'm JLAG.
And I'm NB, and we are talking all things Comic-Con 2019 in this special episode.
We'll be talking all the deets on new relationships, special episodes, and of course, the mystery murder of season 4.
Enjoy the podcast. So first off, let's talk about the top 5 things we learned during the cast time at San Diego Comic-Con. Number 5 is all the senior year info we got.
So I'm sure you're also very excited about this. We're getting everything finally. Riverdale season 1, which we were asking for basically since I think the beginning of season 3.
Yeah. You know what's so amazing is that, we listening to their interviews and listening to the cast talk, they even sound like they're down to go back to season 1. And we've been saying this since like the beginning of season 3. We're like, guys, what's happening? Like the show's getting too crazy.
Yeah.
So to hear like KJ, to hear Cammy, to hear Lili like even say like, we're gonna go back to season 1 like kind of times, Riverdale High. It's just gonna be basic ass teenage stuff. I'm so effing excited, and I can't wait to see what they do with it.
Yeah, for sure. And to your point, like it was almost as if everybody in the interviews were like saying it with a sigh of relief, like, we're going back. Like they sounded so
no more
happy.
Gargoyle King, like nothing. Yeah. Like they were all over that craziness of season 3. You could just see it on their faces, like
for sure.
Like KJ looked so happy he's like, I get to play football again. Like
all I want to do is play football.
Happy. He's like, my friend Charles Melton is gonna be on set. Like he was just so excited. He kept talking about
Charles. He's like, we're gonna hang out. And I'm like, oh, that's cute. So some of the things that we should be talking about. So they did mention there's going to be a homecoming game, just like in season 1. And of course, the big one. Does
homecoming happen? Sorry, we're not American, so we don't know this. But does homecoming happen in your senior year only? Or is it like every year of high school?
It's every year of high school. I'm pretty sure anybody can go to the homecoming game and like the homecoming dance. But the homecoming game is usually in the beginning of the year, like September.
Okay.
And they have like literally like a football game or whatever games
kind of
kicks
like
off the entire season. Yeah.
Okay.
So that's probably going to happen pretty early on in the season. We also have prom to look forward to because I know that we got like a mini prom last season, the junior prom.
That was not even no. Let's not even call it a prom.
We can't even talk about it.
No.
NB's going to get pissed.
No.
But yeah, so we're going to get a prom, like a proper prom, which is very exciting. I wonder what the theme's going to be. Fire and Ice part 2.
I mean, here's the thing. They don't need a theme. You know what I mean? Like
it's true.
If they have all these other one-off episodes, like the flashback, the Halloween, the musical episode, like they don't need to like go and get lit for prom. Just be prom. Like just be yourself and just be high school senior prom. Like we're totally down for that.
Yeah.
You know?
I mean, our prom was Into the Forest themed, like me and NB's, and it was
but it wasn't. Yeah, like nothing. There was no like trees or anything. It was just like a banquet hall. So cool.
Yeah, cool. Anyway, that'll be exciting to see. Another thing that is going to be in the senior year that I'm also excited about is like all these unsupervised house parties that they were mentioning during Comic-Con as well.
And it's something that I don't think I really noticed it at first. And then I think they asked Camila Mendes and they're like, yo, like, where are your parents? And she's like, she's like, I don't even have parents right now. And I'm like, oh my God, she doesn't have parents. Freaking
Cheryl
Betty is missing Alice. Cheryl's been missing her parents from like time Penelope's like gone. I think it's going to be a lot of these kids in their senior year, but they don't have their parents.
Right.
House parties, yes, for sure. Forever. I'm so down.
Like, and also Veronica also mentioned that there's going to be a lot of like hookups happening at the Pembroke because there's no parents around.
she's like
times.
unsupervised visits, and then I think the interview was like, oh, like KJ, you have a lot of scenes, in the Pembroke. He's like, oh yeah.
He's like, it's gonna get raunchy.
So excited.
He kept saying, he's like, it's gonna get raunchy, guys. It's gonna get.
I just have to say, like the entire cast, the core 5 at least that went to Comic-Con, they were lit. Like the entire weekend. Sure. You can tell they have such amazing chemistry, but like I think they're so over answering the same questions that they have to be playful and they have to make fun of it because if they just sit there and answer these questions like back to back, it gets boring, right?
I would say outside of like the actual Comic-Con panel, all the interviews I watched, they like fuck up every interview. They're just like, we're gonna talk about marshmallows now. Like they just like randomly talk about stuff.
It goes off. But I also think the panel was on the Sunday, so I think by the time they got to the panel, they had already been asked those questions like a million times.
100%. Yeah,
so,
for sure.
Yeah.
Another thing to look forward to is apparently the Archies, which is the band in the comic book, is now coming to life with the core 4 picking up guitars and keyboards.
What do you think about this?
I mean, RAS specifically said that it's going to be for a Battle of the Bands episode. So I'm kind of excited just to see what that's going to look like on the high school level. I know that you're not a big musical fan, but in season 1, you know, KJ, or I should say Archie, had a few moments where he was like playing the guitar at the talent show and doing all these kinds of like little musical moments. And
I think the talent show was a cute idea. I love the talent show idea. I don't get why the Battle of the Bands is coming into play now, because like there is no band. Like,
well, no, you're absolutely right.
You know what I mean? Like the talent show would have made more sense, I feel like. And it would have been a cool way to like bring back the Pussycats for like one episode, well, you know?
And that's the thing. It's funny that you say that, because RAS, when he was mentioning the fact that the Archies was coming to like life, he did say that in season 1, he wanted to have this like the Archies versus the Pussycats, but like now that all the Pussycats are like dead and gone, like
it's pretty upsetting.
There's it just reminds you that there's this hole
that there's this hole of a musical component to the show. Like they really were the musical like band of the show, and now they're just gone. Wish so that, it's like you're bringing back this theme, but you're forgetting like who started it all in the first place.
It's true. The Vixens, as you mentioned, are going to be back on screen. But in an interview, it sounds like Betty.
Lily is so over it. She's so done.
She's like, yo, Betty's like doing all these different things. Like, why do I have to be a vixen on top of all of that? You know? So it's really interesting to hear her perspective as Lili Reinhart saying, like, I don't even.
Yeah, and I think it's really cool that like now that they're vets, right? They're in season 4. They can kind of call the shots a little bit. So I think they can push back on their characters and their roles and be like, no, I'm not down to play that. I don't want to be the fucking cheerleader right now or anymore. And I think like the team, they kind of just have to go with it and be like, okay, cool, like fine, she doesn't want to play this role, we'll figure it out like another way. So like
Betty has better shit to do.
It's just
apparently her focus this season is going to be helping her brother Charles, at least in the beginning, to get
which makes
her
total
mom
sense.
Out. Yeah, it makes sense. She's fucking busy. She doesn't need to be a fucking vixen. But anyway, another big thing, obviously, is applying for colleges. I know that Veronica, who's played by Camila Mendes, mentioned that, that's going to be one of her storylines this season.
Yeah, she's applying to Harvard, but this is my question to you. And we all know this, right? The college years are probably the hardest years to figure out, just because it's like, how does everyone stay in the same town, in the same world?
Right.
And she kind of brought the same thing up too. Cammy was like, okay, but what happens? Like, I can apply to Harvard, maybe I'll get in. And then like by mid-season, like I'll have to come back to Riverdale. Like it's not going to make sense if like she's away. And to everyone else, right? Like, so I don't know how they're going to do it.
Unless they decide to do spin-offs at that point in time, which I think would be a really cool idea, but I just don't know if they have the budget for it or if it makes any sense.
Like, I can definitely see Cheryl having her own spin-off at this point because she's such a strong character and she has a huge fan base. But I don't see them all like breaking off, you know? It won't make sense.
That's true. But I don't know, because even RAS was asked during an interview, like what's going to happen in season 5? Like, what are you planning to do? And he did say like he's not really sure. They were throwing some ideas around as to what to do. I still think that what we had said during our last video, which you guys should check out if you haven't yet, we theory that it might be a flash forward and we're going to see this like, this time jump of them finishing university and then coming back to Riverdale for another murder mystery, which is going to be cool.
Yeah, definitely. I can see that happening. I just don't understand how like as Roberto or even the whole creative team, like you created a story about high school, right? About these kids in high school. How did you not already think of like what to do when they're done?
I mean, I guess it's all depending on how, for one, I'm assuming that they didn't even know if they were going to get picked up for 4 seasons.
No, of course not. And you never know if you're going to get picked up. But I think I would still, and I'm sure he does. He's just not saying it. I'm just, whatever. I'm just being picky. But I feel like as a creator, I would at least have a couple of ideas of like where it could go if they got picked up and they got to season 5 and they were and they were in college, like.
That's true. I honestly don't even know what that would look like. And I don't know if I would appreciate a show like that. So I don't know what they're going to do, because I feel like it does center around Riverdale, and
I could definitely see a flash forward. I think that'd be the coolest thing.
Just skip that shit, and especially now that we'll get used to the flash forwards in season 4. By season 5, like a full season of flash forwards, it'll make sense. It won't be like out of nowhere. Another random thing that I wanted to mention, because it kind of has to do with high school, because Veronica's going to be applying for colleges. Hire Miss Lynn Jail. And one of his master plans is to send paparazzi to Veronica's school so she gets in trouble.
I think, I'm really over this Hiram versus Veronica storyline. I kind of was waiting for a season where we got, the dad that's really supportive and that's like really backing her up. And it's like maybe Hermione becomes a parent that isn't as supportive. But I'm kind of over this Hiram storyline of like he's trying to like sabotage his daughter's life.
Especially when it comes to school. Like, since when does he want her to not get into a university?
Yeah.
Exactly. I get like them fighting against each other, and I think that is kind of cool, but how far do you push it? She's like an 18-year-old girl. So we'll see how that goes. Anyway, that's a little bit of a side thing. Before we move on to our next point, I just wanted to mention a few new people who are going to be joining the cast at Riverdale High.
Yeah.
First and foremost, most importantly, I feel, is we get a brand new principal.
Principal Mr. Honey.
Yeah, and do you want to give a little bit more tea on this, NB? Because I know this is a special one for you.
The tea is very, very delicious because it's played by Kara Smith, who played Jack McPhee on Dawson's Creek. And I was like freaking 4 when I watched Dawson's Creek. So I don't even know how I understood everything that was happening. But he was such a cute character. He was the openly gay character on Dawson's Creek. So that was a big thing at that
huge.
Time.
That was
I don't know what year that was. But it was a long time ago.
90s.
And it was like huge and like crazy. So for him to come now into this show, and I'm wondering what kind of role, like he's playing the principal, yes, but like, something's gonna happen.
Something's gonna happen.
They wouldn't bring this freaking like beautiful man onto the cast if it wasn't for anything else but like romance.
So what do you think it's gonna be? Like, what are your theories?
My money is on a Kevin storyline.
Okay.
Because he was such an iconic, like, openly gay character at that time.
Right.
If they're bringing him back, not to say that, like, that's the only thing he can play. It's just, plus
like,
Kevin has been lacking in storyline. Do you know what I mean? Like, Kevin's already, like, slacking. So I feel like this might be a cool way to, like, bring him back in. But like also like maybe he teaches Kevin like so many different things because like he's older too, but like not old to the point where he's like a grandpa,
all the sex moves. I don't know. I mean,
just about life too, like how to true. You know what I mean, like life in a small town, or like how do you get out of a small town kind of thing. Like,
you know what, I would be totally down for that vibe. Actually, I'm not gonna lie. Like, now that you're saying it the way that you're saying it, like them having a romantic relationship, I don't know. I feel like a principal and a student sounds like a like bad news, but I do like the idea that like maybe he becomes like a mentor for Kevin.
That's what I see it as a more emotional connection, and it might lead to something else. I see that because I think we've had more Kevin deserves more than just like a fling,
Yeah, it's true. Speaking of Kevin's flings, it was also announced that one of Kevin's old flames is coming back, and if it isn't Joaquin, which it won't be because he's dead now, then does that mean that Moose is going to be coming back?
So Moose's like failed TV show is like done now, so now he came back to like Riverdale. Is that what's happening?
Yeah, sounds like it. I mean, what do you think about this news? And
I don't know.
Do you think that it's actually going to be him?
I don't know. I think I'm ready because who else was there?
It wasn't anybody on the show, but like, what if it was like someone that he knew in like junior high or something?
I mean, that could be cute. I'm down. Look, I'm not saying anything. I'm just down for Kevin to have some really amazing storyline this season. Yeah. Preferably one that doesn't involve a romantic one, because I want to see him grow as a person, not just like a person with someone else. Because that's all we've seen him go through. 100%.
Yeah.
So,
and then when he was finally by himself, he got himself like in a fucking
into
cult.
A cult. Yeah, like, and like they all left and like left him behind. Like what's that saying about you, bro? Like, come on, they don't even want you. They don't even
want you there. They're gonna have to do a lot of work on his character next season for sure. So I'm gonna see. It'll be interesting to see what they do.
But you know what, JLAG, I'm so excited for that because
me too.
It's just that it's nothing like solving a fucking murder. It's not like the world is ending. Yeah. It's like, how do we get these characters back? Yeah, it's total people problems, and like let's get back to like the characters that we knew in season 1. Yeah, like going to the movie theaters and like it's just, I'm so excited. I really really hope that they do it right.
For sure, me too. And finally, before we move on to the next point, Mad Dog apparently will also be going to Riverdale High at some point in time, joining the Bulldogs team, possibly.
Which I'm so freaking excited about.
I'm so like, hot. And apparently we're going to finally get his name because, of course, you can't call him Mad Dog for the rest of the show.
KJ was so excited about that.
he's going to get a name.
What do you think his name's going to be? Ooh, let's do this. What do you think his name's going to be? I'm going to say like Bryce or like...
yeah, Bryce works.
Bryce is like hot and like big.
Like, know? But that's what I mean. It has to be like a name that like suits a rough him. Name.
Yeah, I think Bryce like suits him, or like
Rocky, or
yeah, that might be a little like a Paul, maybe.
No, man, Paul. Anyways, let us know what you guys think the name is going to be. Comment below or let us know what you think that his name is. Maybe we should start a
maybe
poll.
Like Max, because like it's like Mad Dog Max or something.
Ooh, I like that. Max, yeah. I'm into.
Okay.
All right. Our number 4 goes to all the special episodes that are going to be released this season. We know of at least 3 that have been announced.
Right. And that is there's going to be a flashback episode. There's going to be a Halloween episode.
And, of course, a musical
episode. Yeah.
So the musical episode, it's interesting because we learned a lot this, not that we should be surprised at all, but this Comic-Con especially, that not only the cast, but also RAS was very candid in saying that they do a lot of things as they go. Like, they don't have a full-fledged idea. Like, I'm sure they don't even know who dies at the end of that like shot of season 3. And including the musical episode, a lot of people were saying, asking RAS like, what musical is it going to be this season? And he's like, I don't know. It all really depends on where the kids are in their lives. And I'm like, how do you not know?
Okay, but that's like a little different, because like not knowing who the key like killed person is in your series and not knowing what musical you're gonna do are 2 different things. You know what I mean? Like, he might not have to really know what musical he's gonna do, but like he should know like who's the guy that's dead.
Who's dead? But anyway, we'll talk about that after. But yeah, so we're getting the musical episode, which is now like apparently a tradition now in Riverdale.
I think the cast all said Sweeney Todd at the same time.
Oh,
so it looked, and he wasn't sure. Obviously, he didn't say anything. But like the fact that they all said that at the same time, and maybe it was like an interview or something. But they all said Sweeney Todd, and so maybe if they all like kind of band together and like convince him, like that might be it.
I do love Sweeney Todd, so that might that'd be a cool one. But moving on to the ones that NBEA actually cares about, the flashback episode. Let's talk about the flashback episode.
Yeah, I do like the musical episode. I loved the ones that were the first 2 seasons. So I'm not hating on it. I did appreciate all the work that went into it, and the cast was amazing. So it's still a fun episode to watch.
Yeah, that's true.
Personally, flashback for me was my favorite.
Yeah, 100%.
In season 3. So I'm very excited about that, what they're going to do with that this season. And Lili even says like it's not going to be the same time era as we saw in season 3. It might be before or even after. So I don't know what that means. That's like really freaking cool.
What I'm kind of excited about is maybe it'll be a flashback episode, but it will be with like the parents, but they'll be younger. Do you know what I mean? Like it'll be
like
played
they'll
by
use
the parents.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
So like
maybe right before they leave Riverdale, or like right before they got married or something. Like
exactly, because I feel like with that's a part of the story that I want to fill in a lot, because I feel like we got the high school, which was really,
we got
really
the
cool.
High school. We got where like Alice got pregnant. Like why do we have to see before that? You're right. Yeah.
Yeah, but I definitely want to see a flashback. If you guys haven't checked it out, check out our conversation that we had with Mark Consuelos, who plays Hiram Lodge, because he actually said, and I don't think it was a spoiler, I think it was just him making an assumption that maybe this is going to happen. And then when it was confirmed at Comic-Con, I was like, he could be onto something. So what he says in the interview is basically, it would be really cool to have a flashback that really explains the relationship that Hermione and Hiram have, and how it developed to that point.
Totally.
If there's any more history that we need to uncover,
which is
to understand them.
Which is like, it's been sitting there. It's like a gem of a storyline. Like you really want to know how did they get to where they were? How do they get to like these evil, crazy, like villainous people? I want to see that. And I think they gave you a little bit of Phallus last season and the season before. And like, that was like, whatever. But I think now like to explore the lodges, like I'm so down for that.
for sure. I know that they said also, I mean, RIS did mention that we are going to get an on-screen kiss by Phallus this season, but I mean, I don't really care anymore, but that's cool.
I know, because you know what? Not that I don't care. It's just like they fell apart so fast and like so drastically that I'm like, I forgot they even existed, because in season 3, like they barely had any scenes together. So it's like, and FP doesn't even go save his girl. Like at least if he went to save her, like it would have been a cool ending to all of that. But that doesn't even happen. He like goes back with his wife. So like
distracted,
it was very
doing
weird.
Like, God knows what as the freaking like sheriff of the town. Useless.
Yeah. So I'm still down for Phallus, but like you're right. Yeah. Like the taste is kind of gone right now. Like a little, like it's not as lit.
They need to like move us back into that.
Yeah.
Like maybe he helps Alice with like the healing of like leaving the farm or something.
The healing with the dick.
Like healing that dick. Finally, the next special episode that I wanted to talk about is the Halloween episode.
That's your favorite.
Oh my gosh.
What's really cool, and this is the question that I always ask. I'm like, don't they ever like time out when the episodes are supposed to come out? Like, what day is supposed to come out?
Like you just need to look at a calendar to know like when it's time.
And I'm sure like they put like the CW sends it like late so that maybe they've already written half the season, but like anyways, Roberto said, he's like, Halloween this year, like our episode falls on the 30th. So he's like, it'll be so perfect for like to do a Halloween episode for episode 4. Yeah. I'm so excited for this. Like,
I mean, that being said, to their defense, they have had like kind of fake Halloween episodes.
But here's the thing. Their show is already so like dark. You know, it's dark and they love the horror genre. Like they do that a lot. They play with that a lot. So I think they're gonna have to really exaggerate the Halloween part of it this year to kind of be like get the pumpkins out, get the like dance. Maybe they're gonna have like a school dance or something, or like I don't know.
I mean, they did say that they're going to be dressing up, so they're actually going to be celebrating Halloween in Riverdale, which they've never done before.
Yeah, there were so many freaking good Buffy Halloween episodes.
Yeah,
I feel like they got to take something out of those. Like, oh my god, there were so 100%. Many good ones. So
yeah,
come on, guys, do something.
And also we did get a note that someone is going to die that episode. Yeah. But then he did confirm that it's not going to be any of the core 4 or Cheryl. So
yeah, maybe it's like what's his face, Edgar, because maybe by that point like that the farm storyline will have been like resolved or like somehow resolved. Maybe. And they did say like he is going to come back this season at some point. Like Chad Michael Murray, so I can see them maybe killing him off like in the Halloween episode. Like how crazy would that be? It's like that would be the cool. End of the farm, you know?
The end of everything.
Yeah.
Harvest Moon. Yeah.
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 Is that a movie?
It must be. I know
because you know they're gonna base it off a movie.
That's true. It'll probably be called Halloween, realistically.
True. Oh, they could do like a
Mike
slasher
Myers
style. Yeah,
that would be amazing. I'd be down for that. Anyway, guys, here's all your ideas. Writers, get on it if you're listening to our podcast. Number 3 is going to be talking about Lonely Boy, and we're calling him Lonely Boy.
XOXO.
Because another major thing that we learned is our very own Jughead Jones is apparently going to be joining a prep school in season 4, so he won't be going to Riverdale High.
Also, alert, big news alert.
Sprouse
and Lili Reinhart are broken up.
Oh my god.
What you gonna do now?
Oh my god.
Are you sad?
I am sad. We were just talking about it before we got on the call, but it is depressing. I feel like I love seeing them. I love seeing them together on screen.
Yeah,
I think that cute. You know, like finding out that they were dating in real life was such a long experience because they wanted to keep everything under wraps. And then when they were finally public about it, I was like, that's so cute. They looked amazing at the Met Gala this year.
Yeah, they're super cute.
Like literally we found out like 2 minutes before we started recording that they broke up. And I was like, oh no.
It was funny that you sent that because we both kind of said like we kind of had a feeling. I had a feeling because she hadn't posted anything with him like in weeks on her IG. But also from Comic-Con, couple of the footage, like the videos that we saw, like they weren't even like side by side, like they weren't really like looking at each other. And I was like, hey, that's weird. Like I feel like you would innately like have this amazing chemistry with that person, or like you would be beside them physically. But they weren't. So I was like, okay, something's weird. And then you like sent me the article and I was like, yeah, like
it's over.
It's over. Not to say that like they're not gonna get back together, but this season seems like he might not be in their scenes and not around. Yeah. So they did say that because his prep school is a little far away, he's only going to be in Riverdale on the weekends.
Right.
So I don't think they're gonna have too many scenes together, which may be a good thing of like not having them like awkward and like, you know, on set together or whatever.
Exactly. That was my biggest worry. As soon as the news broke, I was like, oh, those scenes are gonna be so awkward because their chemistry is amazing on screen. So I'm sure. I mean, people do it all the time. People play. You know, they play the character and they forget about it as soon as it stops rolling. But, you know, like Bughead, that could be a natural thing that happens in the season. And now that they're broken up in real life, like maybe it'll be easier for them to be like, let's write them separately.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
And it's funny how these things start out, because I think even with Cammy and like Charles, he came in at season 2, but like they weren't even together. They were nothing. The minute they started doing scenes together in season 3 is when like it's shit started, because it's like you spend so much time together on set, like you're bound to like see what happens and like what comes out in those moments. So I think this is like the perfect timing for Lily and Cole, where like maybe they won't have as many scenes together,
right? And
like it'll give them like a nice break. But
break away
my
from
question
each other.
to you is like, are you down for a Bughead break?
Yes, I definitely think so. I think that they were the only long-standing couple in this show that haven't had. They had a few issues in season 2, but past that, they've been pretty solid. Especially season 3, they were totally fine, despite all the shit that they were going through separately as characters. So
I think that
seeing
shows
them have
you
a break.
Like, yeah, and I think that showed you like how strong they are as a couple and as a team.
Yeah.
And like I definitely think they're endgame for sure. But like I think too. I'm down for a switch up. I'm down for like a shake up. They got a little boring in season 3 because like they were just so amazing. Right. Like they're so meant to be together. It's just like I'm down now for like something else to like happen.
Something
and, like,
different.
To shake it up. Yeah.
Do you think that Charles is gonna be involved in that at all? Like the fact that like
I don't know,
Bughead
but
is
like
maybe
why
on
do
rocks?
they keep saying that Charles and Kevin are gonna have a storyline?
Oh, is that what you keep hearing?
Yeah, that's what everyone keeps saying. They're like, Kevin's gonna like be with Charles.
Well, we did mention that also. You had mentioned that in our last podcast as well as a theory. I'm totally on board for it because
Damn,
I
say
think
that? I don't remember saying that.
I was like, so I don't know who you're talking about, but you did say that.
Like they said, I saw it on Instagram again as I was like scrolling through our feed. Like someone else was saying, they're like, do you guys think like they're gonna be together? So I was like, okay.
Check the receipts, ladies and gentlemen. Check out the podcast.
Guys,
NB
if you want to know what's
going to
happen in Riverdale, just listen to Recap Rewind. Like, it's here. We're like literally saying it for you. We're probably secretly writing for the show, and you guys have no idea. Like, we're probably writers.
I mean, if we had writers, if we were writing, then we would.
Actually, I want to take that back. I was not working during season 3. I won't take credit for that.
The new hires,
the shit show of season 3.
So just going back to the point that we were talking about, so he's gonna be by himself, and the reason why we're calling this section Lonely Boy is because Cole Sprouse specifically mentioned Gossip Girl, like Upper East Side prep school, as kind of the vibe that we're going to be getting from his new school.
Yeah, I'm so down for that. I'm
really
so
excited
down.
about. And it's going to be, I think, a rival team or a rival school for Riverdale High. So there will be like a bit of a crossover. I'm assuming that there's going to be some new characters that we're going to meet in his new school too.
Yeah.
I just feel bad for Jughead because it seems like he, out of all the characters, always gets thrust around to different schools. Like,
that's what I mean.
Remember,
I'm like, we've already had this storyline before with him. Like,
yeah,
when he went
we had him to go to Southside. Yeah.
So I was like I don't get it, and I don't understand why he's going to a prep school. Like, he gets a scholarship. I get that, but like to do this right now in the final year to Jughead,
too?
It just feels a little weird. Like, if anything, it would be Veronica. Like, she would get access to like some crazy like rich New York prep school, and she would leave Riverdale because her parents are in jail anyways. Like, I would think that it would go to her and not Jughead, but like I'm down to see, I guess, where it goes.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. I was very shocked. This was one of the most shocking things to hear because they said it so nonchalantly, as if we should have known that this was going to happen.
I wonder if it was anything to do with like Cole not wanting to be in the show as much, maybe.
And you know what? I think that might have to do with something with their relationship in real life.
You think so?
I mean, not to go back to the real life again, guys, but I really do think that as soon as I've heard the news, I was like, maybe it does have to do with the fact that Cole doesn't want to be a part of the show anymore. And, you know, like Lili sees this as, you know, like her first big experience on television. And he's maybe like, this is not a big deal. I don't really care about anything anymore. You know what I mean? Like, I can imagine him having that vibe where she's kind of like fresh and new into the world and she's like excited about everything, where he's like, I'm over it. You know what I mean?
So one of the things that did surprise me, and we can talk about this after too, in that flash forward scene that they do at the end of season 3, apparently Cole was written into that scene with the core 4. So like they were all supposed to be there in the forest, naked and like burning whatever. Apparently in the last minute, Cole, like, he was like, no, I'm not down to be outside in the freezing cold weather. Like, I'm not down for that. So for someone as an actor to come out and say to everyone else, like, I'm not down to be on in that scene, like, that takes balls to like say that, because like
it sounds a little diva-ish.
It sounds a little diva-ish, and now kind of to what you're saying, maybe he just doesn't give a fuck anymore. Like, he just kind of like, bro, like, I'm not in the scene. Like, what are you gonna do? Fire me? Like, you're not gonna fire Jughead Jones. Like, you're not gonna get rid of my character. So maybe he's pushing the boundaries a little bit to see like how much freedom he can get while still being on Riverdale. I'm not sure. I don't know.
I mean, it'll only take a few more times of him acting like a diva for them to be like, hey, I'm going to Misha Barton you and kill you off. So
that was Misha Barton's own choice, homie. That was no one else's choice. That was her choice to die.
So I don't know. We'll see what happens to him. But speaking of that flash forward, that is our number 2. We get this flash forward at the end of season 3 with Betty, Veronica, and Archie covered in blood and disposing of Jughead's little beanie hat. So the question is,
and then he kept saying, he's like, oh, I'm so happy that beanie's off my head.
Yeah.
He kept saying that. And I'm like, dude, why are you hating on your beanie? Like, geez.
There's a lot of things that he had mentioned this season or during Comic-Con that I was like, he's so over this show. Like, he's done. Like, he doesn't care. Like, he's having a good time, but he's 26 years old. Everybody else on the cast is a little bit younger than he is. He's been a seasoned, you know, television person for a while. Like, I feel like he's not in the same headspace as they are. So I wouldn't be surprised if he is trying to find some distance in the show. But going back to this particular moment, the question of whether or not Jughead is dead, I feel like was a bit of a giveaway based on what you had just said, NB, with him saying that he didn't want to be a part of the scene because he was too cold.
Yeah.
Because that makes me feel like they had originally set him in.
They had originally set him to be in the scene, and what was funny was the fact that I think when he said I don't want to be in it, they were like, oh, if he's not in it, it's gonna make it look like he's dead, and like what a sick cliffhanger for season 3. So I think they kind of took that in that moment and they ran with it, and they worked with it, and it worked for them because like now everyone's freaking out that like Jughead's dead. So it ended up working out, but it was also like, oh, okay, so he's obviously not dead if he was.
So he's probably not dead.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So I'm not too worried about that. We still don't know who's died or what happens exactly. Based on what people are saying, especially like the cast themselves, they don't even know who they've killed off. So
see, that's what I mean. Like, how can you start this crazy story?
I don't know.
And like not know who the death is? That to me shows that it doesn't really matter who dies. Like the person who dies is inconsequential. Right. That's not going to make sense then, you know?
It's true. I mean, it would suck if that is the case, that they're just like creating these gag moments just for us to like wait and find out.
Yeah.
And then it makes no sense at the end of it all. Like, I don't know. We'll see what happens.
Who was the Black Hood? We don't know. We'll get to that in like 3 seasons. Oh, it's Hal Cooper. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Like it was like one of those where like, okay, like.
I mean, that one I felt like was a little bit more planned out.
It was like, more, for sure. It was.
This one specifically does sound a little sloppy. That being said, RAS hasn't himself confirmed and said like, oh yeah, we don't know who it's going to be. Like, I feel like him and his team have been really tight-lipped about it.
They probably have an idea, and they probably have like a couple of names, but that's what I mean. Like, if you're just going to pick a name out of a hat, like, does it really matter who died
exactly
then? Like,
exactly.
You know?
And it's just I think it's just funny to hear the cast at by season 4 like basically spilling all the tea on the writers and being like, yeah, they don't know what the fuck they're doing.
Yeah, like so many times in interviews they were like, they have no idea what they're doing. They write as they go. And it's just not something that I'd want them to admit if I was the writer of the show.
Same,
you know, like I'd be like, guys, don't beat me out. Like, geez.
Yeah, I agree. So going back to this particular point, we don't know much more about what happens this in the scene because they were really, really tight-lipped about it. We do know that we're going to find out what that situation is by mid-season finale. So that's what I expected, because it isn't like it's not like prom night or anything.
It says homecoming, no? Wasn't it?
No, it was spring break.
Oh, okay, spring break.
Spring break. So we know that it's going to be happening like halfway through their like high school year. So that makes sense. He said that it's going to happen at the mid-season finale. We're going to find out who dies. And this is really taking a page right out of How to Get Away with Murder. He's obviously a fan.
Yeah. For sure.
Because he's not only just saying that we see that flash forward, but apparently we're going to be getting little hints and little moments in the beginning of every episode that lead up to that final moment.
How to Get Away. Oh my God.
Which is exactly what How to Get Away did, right? So it sounds like they're going to be using the motif. That being said, I'm going to plug it one last time. Damage is Done did this from years, guys. So check that show out too. But yeah, I like that storytelling.
And I'm not hating on it. I love it.
Not at all.
But you got to do it right. That's the thing. You got to do it right. And these kind of shows with these kind of templates, you have to know your start and your end. You have to, because the pieces have to all be there before you start production. So 100%. I don't understand how they don't have these little things mapped out, but they can somehow, I don't know. I trust that they know what. I mean, I don't trust that they know what they're doing because they watched season 3. So
I'm like, girl, do you?
I'm like, really? Yes, but I think you got to plan out that kind of format really well.
For sure. Our final top 5 before we get to some extra points is Fred's Final Goodbye, which is the very first episode back in the season, and it's going to be called In Memoriam, right? I think that's what it's called.
Yeah, and it's going to be.
I think it's going to be. I'm going to be getting the Kleenex box out. I'm going to be ready to cry. It's going to be a very emotional episode.
I'm really happy that they let us sit with it over the summer, and we knew this was going to happen, and they had to address it, when the season came back, but we still didn't know if they were going to replace his character or if they were going to kill him off, because it's like, what do you do?
So that is what's happening now. It is officially confirmed that Fred Andrews' character will be.
It's like heartbreaking. He'll I'm literally getting goosebumps right now. It's because it's just like, it's big. Fred Andrews was like a huge character in Archie's whole, arc. So we do know that Molly Ringwald is coming back to play like a full-time mom to Archie. And I think even Roberto says a really cute story where he was like, she called me, or Molly called Roberto, and she was like, please don't get Archie to have some random uncle that comes to town. She's like, let me play the mom, let me come back and I'll be there for him, because it's just not gonna.
That's so sweet.
Yeah, I was like, oh my God, I'm like, Molly, and he was like, okay, if you can come and play it, come through.
Right.
Because maybe they were just going to do that, bring in some random brother of Fred or something that
I can totally see them do.
So it was really cool that she kind of stepped up and was like, no, I want to play his mom. And I think that's going to work out so well, because we haven't gotten to see Archie and his mom a lot. So
and what we have seen of them, by the tail end of this season, of last season, was really good. I love their chemistry together.
Yeah, it was.
She did pull through. She brought over all these special people for him to get into school and stuff.
It sucks that you have to say it, but it almost felt like her acting and her role became bigger and more important once he was gone to us. He was still alive in their world, but he was gone to us. And she just, I don't know, her acting was just on point in that last episode. She came in heavy, and I can't wait to see him with a woman. He's been with his dad the whole time, so him being with a mom, it's different, right? He's gonna learn so many things.
And I think that it's one of those things where of course they're not replacing his role as the father figure, but bringing in another parent I think is necessary for Archie,
of course. And it's
I think that she plays it really well too,
and it's such a real Cheryl has gone through, they've all gone through something this with their parents, but for Archie, our main hero, our main character of this whole series, to go through something this traumatic and something that can change you, it fully changes your whole life. So I can't wait to see how KJ and how Archie, how they deal with it in the season.
I just think that it's
real. It feels like a real storyline that kids go through.
It does, but the thing is, I feel like it's almost I don't even want to say poorly timed, because you can't obviously time these things or set them up. This is real life and how they had to deal with it, but you know, Archie's character went through some shit in season 1 and end of season 1, Fred actually gets shot and he's about to die in the beginning of season 2. You know, all of season 3, he's like lost in the woods. He has to run away. He went to jail. Like a lot of crap happens to Archie. But I just think it's just heartbreaking to know that they're, you know, killing off Fred, and now Archie's character is now dealing with the repercussions of that again. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
I feel like
because he has
season 2, he had to deal with the potential loss of his father, and now that he's actually gone, like it's gonna be really. Yeah. Outside of all of this, guys, obviously I'm extremely feeling very respectful of the fact that, you know, this is a real person's life and how, you know, there's no way that they could have done anything better.
I just want to say too, like, I think on the opposite side, like, I think this is the best time for this, not the best time for this to happen, but like, I think it all works out because I think Archie went through the hardest year of his life, and like now he knows, or now he's learned to not fuck it up again. Like his dad left him with like the biggest lesson of all. Like
you're right.
They've had so many good scenes together towards the end. It's like, now how does he honor his father? By like not doing stupid shit like he did befue. So I think this is the like the best moment for this to happen to him and to like wake him up and like shake him, you know?
Yeah, for sure. I'm looking forward to seeing how they play it out, and I'm really, really excited about this episode just because I think that it sounds like an amazing send-off to Luke Perry and to Fred Andrews' character. So speaking of which, they're going to be bringing back Shannen Doherty, who played alongside Luke Perry in 90210 Beverly Hills. What do you think about that news?
Shannen Doherty, I don't know. Like, I'm down for it. Apparently, before Luke passed away, he like called up Roberto and was like, I want her to like come on the show. Like, I want her to do like a special guest star, like if it could work out or whatever. And then I think they just couldn't work it out. Like they couldn't fit it into the series. And so now I think Roberta was like, what a perfect way to like bring her in for the first episode. And like, I don't know what role she's playing. Maybe like a long lost friend or something, or like his college friend or something. So that will be really cute to see.
I feel like it's going to be really hard to see all these characters come back for him and he's not there. You know what I mean? Like, it's just going to be really...
Yeah, for sure. I think it's going to be hard to see Archie move on without his dad. Like, it's real now because up until last season, like, he doesn't know anything. He's totally fine. He's Archie. So for KJ to have to go to that place of, like, losing a parent, like, it's going to be really sad for, like, his reaction and everything, you know?
And he did say in a few interviews, KJ does say that, you know, a lot of his story as Archie is going to be centering around him honoring his father's legacy. So whether it is through his actions or whether he decides to, like, maybe he puts up a foundation or, like, I don't know. Like, I'm really interested to see what they're going to be doing to make this, like, a very... you know, a solid piece in history for the show and for, you know, this actor's life too.
Not to say that I want, guys, I know you guys are going to hate me for saying this, but not to say that I want this death to lead to like something else, but like I do want this to shake Archie so much that like he can't find what he needs right now in Veronica. And you know where I'm going with this.
You want a VARCHIE break?
I want Betty and Archie. Like, I want to see Betty and Archie this season. I want to see that happen. Because it's almost like the death of his father takes him back to the kid that he was and like the little boy that he is, and like who knows him better than like Betty Cooper. So it's like I can see something like that happening. It might not last all season. It might not last forever, but like I can definitely see him going to that place to deal with his like grief, and like she's there for him in that kind of way, right?
It's true because I do feel like Veronica doesn't really have much to offer to the story. Like, her dad's in jail. She literally put her dad in jail.
And I think it's always been the hardest part for Veronica and Archie. It's like she can't get to those places that he needs her to get to. And she might have learned. Maybe she's better at that now. But I still feel like if they were ever going to do a Barchi moment, I feel like this is probably their best, like...
This is the time.
Their best time to do it, maybe, you know?
Yeah, I agree. One final thing before we move on to our extra points. Ashley Murray, who plays Josie McCoy, is also returning for that one episode in the show.
Which one? The Fred one?
Yeah.
Aww.
So everybody's coming back for the funeral, I guess.
That's so
like
sad.
It's gonna, like, guys, it's gonna be very emotional, so just get ready for that. So those are the top points, but let's talk a little bit about some more updates, some little pieces of news that we got from this Comic-Con weekend. So The first one that I wanted to talk about is the farm storyline. Thank goodness will be done by episode 3.
Sick. I'm done.
So, like, we've been done, but we obviously, they kept it very open last season about the fact that they all ascended / ran away. So it's all going to be, I think, episode 1, 2, and 3. All of Betty's storyline is going to be her working with her brother to, find her mom and get her mom out safely.
Yeah.
So when that happens, the whole farm storyline will be done. So hopefully, Polly will be gone and arrested, and Chad Michael Murray, Edgar, will be also arrested, and everyone will be arrested. Like, I don't know.
I'm ready for that to be done with. I'm over it. It's expired. It needs to be done. Yeah. You are expired.
We are done here. Another thing that I thought was really interesting that I wanted to talk about was Cheryl is going to be talking about a lot of her mental health issues in season 4. Because as you guys remember at the end of season 3, she is hanging out with her dead brother's body in the basement.
Yeah. I think this was a really big thing for Madelaine to like talk about, but here's where I'm worried. If they don't give it enough time, it's not going to work, and it's not going to give it justice. I think mental health in like young adults is like a huge storyline, and like major. And I definitely think that they should explore it for sure, because this girl has seen enough trauma to last a lifetime, but they got to do it justice, and they have to do it right, or else it's not going to work. And it's like kind of, you can't botch something like this, So I hope that like the way that she's saying it is the way that they do it, and they actually do explore that, and like they get into it,
Like, that's the thing. If Madelaine didn't have the range that she does as an actress to go from like perky and bitchy to this like vulnerable and sad and emotionally tormented girl, then I'd be like, just make her like a total bitch. But we've seen Cheryl as this very vulnerable, sad character, even in season 1.
And she can play it. She's an amazing actress. I'm not saying that. I'm saying the writing. Whatever they write for her and however they develop the story, that's where it's going to be. She can kill it no matter what. I have full confidence in her.
Absolutely. Some parent updates, I guess I just wanted to cover off. The phone call at the end of season 3 that Hermione gets from somebody. It's not from Hiram, but it's about Hiram. That gets exposed at some point in time. Whatever mystery or plan that he had in place is going to be exposed. But also, they're in jail now. Both of them are in jail, so that's like Veronica's parents. We are going to find out what happened to Penelope Blossom at some point, because she ran away at the end of season 3. And I think that's all the fucking parents that are left in Riverdale.
I do think they want to focus on the senior year this year, and they want to give it to the kids. And I agree with that, because I think you got to let it sit, and like you need time to like explore everyone's storylines. And none of the parents were at Comic-Con this year, so.
None of them, yeah.
I mean, that could have been a little bit because of Luke's passing, and I don't know, but it just felt like the core 5 is really the focus of the senior year, and so I don't know how much the parents are going to have to do in the season.
Yeah, for sure. I really want to quickly talk about Veronica, because she has a few things running this season. Like I said, she's going to be trying to apply to college. Hiram's going to try to dash those dreams by sending paparazzi to her school. Apparently she has a few scenes with a new principal, because she probably gets in trouble for all that kind of stuff. So we'll see that happening. But a few other things outside of the unsupervised parties at the Pembroke, is she's apparently going to be getting a mystery guardian to take care of her.
Like a family member. Maybe her like grandma or something. Or like maybe an aunt or something. Yeah.
Do you think it's going to be a woman or a man?
I don't know. I actually don't know.
Like, what if it's like another evil version of Hiram?
That's the thing.
It's Hiram's twin brother.
I don't know.
It's just Marcus Wayless playing his brother.
I don't know if they'll do a guy, just because like Daddy's role is so big in her life. But maybe they'll do like a grandma or like an aunt or something, like Hermione's sister or something like that.
That'll be interesting, and I would like to see like what they do and like what the significance of this character character is going to be.
Yeah.
Veronica and Cheryl are also going to be like having a joint business venture together. I'm not sure what that means, but like they're going to be doing something together. And finally, and I don't know why I left this as the final moment. Sorry, guys. This is a little anticlimactic, but Tony Topaz is getting her origin story.
Which I guess, like,
I mean, maybe somebody's excited about that.
Yeah,
like, are you excited about that?
I think I heard it on the panel and someone just asked it, and Roberta was like, no, we're definitely going to get, like, her origin story and, like, figure out, like, where she came from, like, who's her family. And I was like, okay, cool. Like, I didn't know we were going to get that, but, like, all right, I'm down. Like, if that being said, and here's the thing, we always say this, right? Like, when you do have just about teenagers and just about their lives, you're gonna have to start diving into their characters, because it's like there's nothing else. And I'm totally down for that, because I've been complaining all season 3. I am down to figure out, like, who is who, why are they the way they are, where do they come from, who are their parents. I want to know all of that, so I'm down.
I am really excited about it regardless. I think it's going to be a really great season. I'm really looking forward to it. That is our podcast, guys.
Damn. Did you miss podcasting?
That was great. I do miss podcasting. I do miss talking to you about it. I think that, especially with the season 4, I'm really excited about it. Sounds like a lot of fun.
Yeah, it really does feel like, in a really creepy way, that they've been listening to our podcast, and like they've been like, guys, everyone's complaining, like, we got to go back to season 1, like, times. So
also, like, if you guys want to hire us, like, a fish, like, maybe you guys should just holler and DM us. Like, hello.
So it's exciting. I'm super excited for season 4. It premieres, I think, in October, like maybe mid-October. So we still have like a little bit of time. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you listen to the full version here, we also have a shorter countdown video on our YouTube as well. So be sure to check that out.
Yeah. And that's pretty much it. I would like to take this time to thank our patrons of the episode. We got our Rewinder squad, White and Wesley. Our Lit Rewinders, Tina Ann, Sarge, Serena, Kate, and Soleil. And our Mommy Rewinders, Becca, Sarah, Tamala, and Grace.
And if you would like to join our Patreon family, check us out at patreon.com/recap_rewind. If you join, you'll get access to all things Recap Rewind, exclusive contests, content, and updates.
And also make sure you guys are checking us out on all of our socials, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, and Facebook. And you can also find us, obviously, on all the podcast platforms, Google Podcasts, Spotify, iTunes. Make sure you guys are liking, subscribing, following, reviewing, and commenting to stay engaged with us at Recap Rewind. And also to have us at a better standing. We want to be out there with all the EWs and get sent to Comic-Con next year. So make it happen for us. Help a sister out, help a brother out. But thanks for listening.
Bye.
Bye.